Back again, fresh off the heels of the Phils 10-2 win over the Braves. This is the number one Philadelphia sports podcast on the net, here to discuss Bryce Harper's 2 home runs. It is I, once again, Whack Nicholson, as always joined by Caleb and June. You know them quite well. But we have 2 absolutely perfect guests to come on today and talk about their favorite Philly sports moments. The authors of Eat the Rich, Kate Shapiro and Jack Allison. Kate, where are you at the 1980 World Series? What are some of your favorite plays?
You know, you told us the topics we were going to talk about on the show, and this I'm actually even less familiar with Philly sports. But thank you for having it. I should say the book is Kill the Rich. We actually go one step further than the traditional Eat the Rich.
Not just eating. So this isn't even. It's not even a
that.
sustainable. It's not even a sustainable book. You don't mind what happens.
I guess
with the waste.
You normally kill to eat, but really, the kill is the most important part.
It's implied. It's implied. You're going to do it. It's going to happen at some point.
Uni is still alive sometimes when you're having it, but the book is Kill.
Okay, yeah, you guys, So your book is Kill the Rich, a sort of satirical novel that looks at the current situation online and sort of future casts it 15 years. So we did want to talk to you guys a little bit about the book before we do discuss some of the news of the day topics. The ones that aren't horrendously upsetting is the ones we're going to talk about. But
you found some crazy.
there's also some fun ones. There's or at least I think is a fun news event that's happened.
Yeah,
but we'll get into that.
We certainly will. So, Kill the Rich. You guys want to give like a little elevator pitch before we start talking about it?
Yeah, sure. So takes place about 15 years in the future in 2038, and America has, in a squeaker election, elected a quote-unquote communist progressive president. The political parties are split into 3 parties. There's the American People's Party, which is kind of like the DSA progressive wing. The Democrats and the Republicans have merged into one party called the Democrat Republicans. And then there's kind of like a conspiracy QAnon crazy person party called the Patriot Party. And so a communist quote unquote president is elected with like 35% of the vote on the campaign slogan "Kill the Rich." And now that they're in office, they have to actually make good on that promise. After executing one of the Koch brothers to low ratings, they are now going to do a televised execution of Kim Kardashian, whose beauty products line poisoned an entire small town. After that execution, a senior aide to the president, Javier Batata, is trying to sort of get information on the next rich person, to put up on for a televised execution, and it's a cryptocurrency, meme-obsessed, richest man in the world, who we call Willem Lutz, and bears legally no resemblance to Elon Musk.
Friend of the show, Elon Musk.
Friend of the show.
Can I just say really quick how much in like the last 2 years ago, like most media attention from Elon Musk was like neutral or like positive, but I feel like in the last 2 years, because like you had the Glass Onion movie, you have like a lot of like novels and just like other stories where it's like, oh, this is the Elon character.
Yeah. So I mean,
for good reason, of course.
Kate can speak to that a little bit, but I was worried, when we were first writing the book, it was, like a year and a half ago, that I was like, everybody kind of like likes Elon. Like cool people know that Elon sucks, but most people, normal people, think of him as like the electric car guy. Are people like not gonna like that we made him the villain of the book? And I will say that he, sufficiently self-immolated enough in like the last year that I'm like, maybe the book doesn't even go too
Crisis
far.
averted, yeah. You guys started writing this, I think, Kate, I heard you, and I don't know if I read this or if I heard it in another interview you guys did, but you started writing this as like a series of short stories during the pandemic, right?
Yeah. I did kind of a Substack series kind of set in this world. And there were many other like different things. So like, I think Hunter Biden was a senator in that world and not in this world.
Dude, okay, we have to have him run. We need him to be a senator. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'd vote for him.
Then there's the new. Did you guys see there's a new Biden that dropped the Uncle Biden that was on Grindr or whatever it was?
Yes.
There was a hidden Biden.
A hidden Biden. He's like
Biden?
a muscle Biden, dude. He's like this yoked 60-year-old who's posting hog. Why does that whole family kick so much ass?
Joe is actually like the lamest of them all. Like I would vote
Seriously.
for a Hunter over a Joe. If they replace Joe with Hunter, Trump's in trouble.
I want the muscle Uncle Biden.
What I need to know is why do they love taking pictures of their own dicks?
Well,
They
their
love
dicks,
dick pics.
well, their dicks are huge. Like, if you've seen a lot of Hunter's dick pics, like it's mostly putting
Of course.
objects next to them and be like, "Look how big my dick is." But it's bigger than this remote control. I can like.
It is funny that the photos like are all about comparison items. Like it really is like can't be fooled. But objects are not smaller than they appear.
Yeah,
in
there
the
is
photo.
definitely one thing we know for certain about President Joseph Robinette Biden. It is that he is packing absolute heat, and that
Totally.
No, I bet that in addition to being the worst Biden, he also has the smallest.
That's
You
the
think so? You think
smallest.
that's why he's so hungry?
It's why he sucks. Yeah, that's why he's the weak Biden. He's the beta Biden. We're gonna in the first debate against Trump and Biden. Trump's gonna come out and the hidden Biden. I don't know his name, but the new Biden's
Uncle
gonna
Biden.
come out. They're gonna
Muscle Biden. Uncle Muscle Biden.
they're gonna reveal him. He's gonna replace the actual Biden.
They've got Bidens like they got Donkey Kongs. There really is like a whole Kong family of
we got
Bidens.
cranky
We got to go to
Biden,
Delaware. It's
funky
exactly
Biden.
like the Donkey Kong games, dude.
I can
The new
attest to
one
that.
sounds like Funky Biden. The new one sounds like Funky Biden.
Kong Biden. Hell yeah.
Funky Biden. Yep, that's him.
as somebody whose mother took me to the Joe Biden takes me every time I visit her Delaware beach residence. My mom wants to take me over to Joe's house and see if he's there right now. We
What does
have,
she think is gonna happen? Like you're
she
gonna go
wants
up
to
and,
like
talk
see
to
one of the
Biden?
dogs bite the fucking social. I don't know what she wants. But, I don't know what
That's
she
another
expects
cool
out of
thing. He
it.
just has an unending series of snarling hellhounds that are biting people.
Yeah, like at first when they first had those dog stories come up, I was like, dude, he's got to like get a hold on these dogs. But there was one a couple of weeks ago where I'm like, okay, I've come around on these dogs.
Dude, it's like 10
The
biting incidents on
CIA
the second dog alone. What about the first one that we don't even talk about?
I think they got rid of the first one.
that one had an untimely exit. that one crossed
That dog
the Rainbow
committed
Bridge.
suicide with 2 bullets to the head.
Are the dogs increasing or decreasing in rank? That's my question. Because it's like commander. Are we now down to like lieutenant at this point, or what's
I
going
think
on with
I
the
think
private?
there is actually a real reason that he's naming them. I think they're different branches. So I think there's similar ranks in different branches. There's a political reason behind the names of these dogs.
Okay,
It's like when
okay.
Obama went to Torchy's Tacos in Austin, Texas, and he got one of their tacos called the Democrat, another one called the Republican, and a third one called the Independent. He got all 3.
Jesus Christ.
They're all good. They're all good. They're
real?
equally
I fuck
good.
with
I don't know.
Torchies
The
every time I'm in
Democrat at
Texas, man.
Torchies is not that good.
Torchy sucks. Torchy sucks. It's the 5th best taco place in any city in Texas.
Oh my lord. But yeah, no, I'm on the. Basically, my point was I'm on the dog side now. The Secret Service, they have bad vibes.
Yeah, they're cops.
I don't trust them. Yeah.
Well, it's
yeah,
funny
exactly.
that there was that Twitter account that first came on, like the dog Twitter account that would talk about how possum it was, and, like make all these
It was
puns.
wasn't it like
The Oval
something
Office.
about
The Oval
And it was-
Office.
The Oval
yeah, that's what it
Office,
was.
yeah.
Like the most cringe thing in the world, and it's so funny that these dogs are like biting everybody after they try to make it this cute thing.
Yeah, there's been like 12 bites. Like someone's it's gonna end even worse at some point, and I'm gonna be on their side.
There was the article about how the dog would walk down the hallway making clicking sounds, and I'm like, oh, it's just
Yeah.
a fucking
What the
thing.
fuck,
It's
man?
like John Carpenter's
Yes.
Commander.
Yes. That's going to be so good. The
Holy
next one's
shit.
going to be private, and it's going to have like a brand new Ford Mustang with a 20% interest rate and 2 ex-wives, even though it's a teenager.
Oh, so it's going to be Hunter?
I think they're training this dog to leave behind when Trump takes back the White House to like secretly, to do the deed.
Patriots in control.
Get Trump in a Cujo situation in Air Force One.
Honestly, it's funny to think about. I bet Trump is really afraid of dogs and is really funnily afraid of dogs.
Yeah.
I think that seeing Trump around a dog would be something I would deeply desire to see.
We know quite well, it's well documented that he's very, very afraid of sharks, but I think he's also afraid of dogs as well. I think it's come up that he doesn't like animals, like cats, dogs. He's afraid of animals.
Yeah.
Did you say
except for the dog that bit Suleimani or whatever? You remember that? He kept talking about how beautiful that dog was. That was another lifetime ago, man.
Trump is extremely afraid of sharks. He's written about it in multiple books. It was part of Stormy Daniels' deposition. She was like, he kept on talking about how much he hates sharks, and then because
they just went and watched Shark Week when they were supposed to have sex. They went in the room and they watched Shark Week, and he was like, they're very, very scary.
And look at these guys. Yeah, it was, and he confirmed. He's like, yeah, we didn't have sex. We watched Shark Week. I told her how much I hate sharks. It's been a thing. He's hated sharks his entire life.
That's so mid-70s coded. I'm sure he watched Jaws.
Oh, in Palm Beach, like every year, like 800,000 to 2 million sharks just go by the Gulf Stream really close to Palm Beach, and everybody goes there. So I'm like, why does he make that his home? Like it's like the shark capital of the world.
Because he bought Mar-a-Lago from the DuPont family for cheap. That's the whole reason he lives there. Is because he got it on the cheap.
That dude has never set foot in the ocean.
No.
Can you imagine Donald Trump swimming?
I want to see him try to surf. I want to see him in a wetsuit. I want our big wet boy to catch some sweet tubes.
When he needs to join the boaters, the beautiful boats, the beautiful boaters, the beautiful patriots. He's never been on a boat. Why doesn't he join them?
Yeah, he doesn't even have a yacht. He lives his life in fear for a guy who is extremely wealthy.
He's a plain man. He really is like the consummate New Yorker. You know what I mean? He's afraid of every type of animal, thinks that the ocean is evil, and pretty much just is in cars and planes.
Certainly can't drive a car.
No, he absolutely can't. But there was like a recent-ish news story about like he was talking about
at a rally.
At a rally. What was he talking about?
So he just randomly went off on this tangent about how he would rather get electrocuted than get eaten by sharks.
So I think he was talking about talking about how they're like trying to make electric boats or something, like getting mad about electric cars, and then he was like kind of going on a riff about like with an electric boat that would electrify the water, and then he got distracted and he was like, but if there was a shark, I would rather get electrocuted.
The best part about that was like
he
says this, he's talking about this, and he's like, to this crowd, doing one of his like diatribes that he famously does, and then talks about for a good couple of minutes about how he'd rather get electrocuted than eaten by sharks. And then like he goes to the crowd, he's like, right? You guys agree with me? And like, the crowd was completely befuddled. It was like a kind of like, scattered applause, and as opposed to usually all those people are just going fucking nuts. Because he was just completely on a different level.
Yeah, that was the moment that the autistic kid shared how much he thinks about his hyperfixation with everyone else, and they're like, "Wow, oh no, I like Dragon Ball Z. I'm not like I'm not doing what you're doing." No.
Yeah, like I just watched it when it came on Cartoon Network. I don't own the entire series. I didn't watch the.
I'm feeling
the
straight up attacked
series
right now, man.
No, if it makes you feel any better, I own the entire series.
Oh hell yeah!
So
Jesus.
it's okay.
Okay.
Jesus
okay.
Christ!
I was making fun of myself. It's okay.
Jesus Christ!
And I mean not the DVDs, the manga. The manga is very good.
The manga actually is very good. And
it's very good.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, it's the dorkiest conversation I've ever been a part of.
Kate, the manga, Toriyama's manga far exceeds the anime.
I'm just
except
dissociating right now.
Except for perhaps Dragon Ball Z Kai, which recuts it to have better pacing like the manga.
Oh, no.
Great take. I agree completely. Yep.
No matter what I try to do, I can't stop this from becoming an anime podcast.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
We have shifted into anime quite a few times.
I think every podcast in its DNA is actually an anime podcast. Like strip away all the trappings and it becomes an anime podcast. Even the
We're
Daily,
dangerously close.
you leave Michael Barbaro, he could get going about Yu-Gi-Oh and shit.
Everyone has a little anime story. I need to know Trump's favorite anime. I need to riff with him about Dragon Ball.
They call it Hamtaro, folks. Hamtaro. It's nothing to do with ham, though. I can promise you that.
So I guess that was like the first half of my question, is like talking about how you guys were writing it back then. A couple things kind of like in the time that you started writing these and the time to now, it's just recently been published. A couple things came true, like things that you were riffing on, but they actually happened because that's just how the world is now. What you guys want to talk about that? I had the one specifically was kind of like the Elon company town.
Yeah, that is a very real one. Yeah, go ahead, Kate. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, me and Jack are just prophets, so what we write comes true. But actually, those towns in Nevada are a thing. So they're called innovation zones. Like that's what we call them in the book, but they're actually a thing. Like a corporation can buy a bunch of land in Nevada and just like set up their own laws. And like I think they just did that recently to get like Google and Tesla and all these people to come to Nevada and just terraform the desert into some like great place, because none of those companies want to come to Vegas or Reno because they're such shitty places to live. I live there, so I feel like I can say that.
You can say
that like they don't want to go there, so that corporations can just buy random desert land and do whatever the fuck they want there, and Tesla doesn't.
So Elon is trying to become Muad'Dib. He is in the desert trying to make it bloom.
So I've heard of the one because Disney notoriously has that in like Florida, like basically a company town. I hadn't heard of the one in Nevada.
Yeah, because people actually want to go to Orlando. Nobody wants to go to like Pahrump, Nevada.
and like Disney knows better than to poke the bear on that one. Like if they did any illegal labor practices in there, they would get their shit clapped. So it's easier to just run a regular.
I don't know about that one.
Well, I mean, they're probably
the people that want to clap Disney's shit don't care about illegal labor practices.
That's true, but they ride this line a lot better than Google and fucking Elon Musk do, because they just want to make as much money as possible, and Disney's just slightly more shrewd than some of the tech people, is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, also theme parks are a place you can go to and have fun. So
Yes.
I don't know what kind of city Google would open. I guess me and Jack in the book tried to figure out what kind of city an electric car meme guy would try to open.
Yeah, the big one is Elon starting his own city kind of blew our minds right around when the book was coming out. And there's other stuff in there too, which like now is escaping me. But I guess your listeners will just have to buy the book to find out.
Hell yeah.
The one prediction that it's not in this first book, but will be in the sequel book that I just have been saying on podcasts because I want to lay claim to predicting this before it happens, is that the QAnon shaman is going to get elected to Congress at some point.
Hell yes.
And you can envision it in your head. Already you can see CNN showing him walk on the House floor and saying like he was here in a Viking costume and now here he is, an elected official of Congress. And so that's not in the first book. It will be in the second one, but I want everyone to know that when it does happen, we're not stealing from reality. You know, we thought of it first.
Another thing we predicted, because I just texted you about this, is in the book, the not Elon Musk character challenges the president to a cage match. And
right.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
All that shit with Elon.
Does it happen though?
No.
Does the cage match happen?
Which didn't happen.
Challenges.
You got it right.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Happened on social media and then it was dropped completely, which is exactly what happened with the
thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
One of the things we did get wrong, I will cop to, is that Twitter's still called Twitter in 2036 in the book. So we did make that mistake, that Twitter would still be called
There
Twitter.
are rumors that he's planning on switching it back.
Also,
Really?
God,
one
that
of the
would be
things
so
we have in the
funny.
book is that all the social media companies got bought by like Berkshire Hathaway and places like that.
Yeah.
So in the second book, I'm going to say that Berkshire Hathaway switched it back because the brand was stronger.
Good call.
stuff.
Yeah, that's a good writing lesson for me. Now in all my projects, I just say post it on social media. Don't
Don't use the real name. Don't use the real name.
See, so I've been watching Succession, and one of the especially like these days, one of the most jarring things. I don't know if you guys have watched
I watched
Succession, but one of the most common lines is more tweets, great tweets. They say tweets and Twitter a lot, and it's just very very jarring. And one of my favorite things about season 3, I'm going to talk about season 3 for those who haven't listened, but Dasha of the Red
hell
Scare
yeah.
podcast, Notorious Dasha, she's in like season 3, and her entire character for like half of the season is about tweets. Like they just relegated her to talk about Twitter for like most of it. And then after she like started developing a little bit, she had like one episode, she just gets written out of the show, which is just incredible.
My understanding is that she got written out of the show because of her like hard right turn.
Yeah,
because they
okay.
thought she was like a liability.
Yeah, they thought she was an asshole, so they cut
found her
loose.
real Twitter and was like, oh shit, okay, well.
Well, right? Yeah, no, rightly they got that right. She did become kind of an asshole, or was an asshole.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Red Scare, but R.I.P.
Yeah, all
Dasha.
I know about her is I listen to a Russian propaganda podcast. It's a hobby. It has nothing to do with my political beliefs. But she's been on it, which I'm like, why is this person on
really
it?
bizarre.
That is bizarre.
Well, she does get funding from Peter Thiel, so
Oh, let's go.
make of that what you will.
Really?
They get teal money.
Friend of the show,
Yeah.
Peter Thiel.
How can I get Teal money? I want
I
Teal
know.
money.
I'm like, of course,
You just
that's
have
bad.
to be like you have to be like an irredeemable piece of shit. And
That
that's it.
is, of course, bad, and I denounce it. But also, where can I sign up, and is it possible to get some?
He's got one question at that negotiating table, and it is, what that blood do? He just needs your blood. So if you're willing to,
Awesome. I do just kind of have, as we wrap up the segment on the book here, like what was kind of the impetus for this to happen, and like what to your mind, I think Kate, because you started these with this little Substack deal, like to your mind, what was it about the story that you wanted to tell that just kind of, this being in the pandemic days, of course, where things were crazier, I guess, or maybe just crazy in a different way, like what to your mind was the genesis of this?
When I was first starting to think about it, I was taking a class in like witchcraft in the 16th century. And so I was reading all these primary sources of people getting burned at the stake and executed, and how that was like the fun thing to do on Friday night. That was like Friday night SmackDown. Like, was like, that's what the whole village came together. Like, people were sad when it stopped happening. And it's like, nobody really understood like why like witchcraft, there's not like a real reason, or like why certain women were chosen. But it was clear that everybody was having fun. And
Everyone just got together. Everyone tied bricks around their ankles and just jumped in the water. They jumped in the lakes just to see what happened, just for fun.
And the 16th century is a lot like now. There was a huge like climate change, like a mini ice age kind of thing. There was like a lot of populism going around. Like the first STDs were entering. Not that I mean, there's disease and plague and lots of stuff going on. So when I was like reading that, and I was just thinking about like this polarized world and like Kim Kardashian, I'm like, well, it just would be like great if one of these like really rich people who just like are making videos during the pandemic about how great it is to stay inside when they live in a mansion and I live in like a shitty apartment in downtown Las Vegas. And
some of those videos, I think about some of those videos. I think the like one that sticks out in my mind the most is the John Lennon Imagine music video.
God.
Oh
That
my
is just
God.
like the most.
Google it if you don't remember or
holy
missed
shit.
that one, guys at home. Oh my God.
It's if you don't remember it, the first 2 seconds you'll be like, oh yeah, this fucking video.
Yeah. That was the video that made me want to start. I was like, fuck this. We're all so polarized. But there is one thing in common, is that we all hate these people. Like, and we hate that they do this. So like, I was like, would it be healing for America if we just had a public execution of a just like horrible billionaire? And so that's the
It's like,
seed of the
do you-
idea.
Have you ever heard of that? I forget exactly like where this took place and which century, but there was like just a village that had like a mass paranoia, and they like couldn't stop like jumping up and down and like
The dancing plague.
until they like. Yeah, the dancing plague. We just need to bring that back. We need a dancing plague. We might just like need a guillotine, a public
There's
square
a
guillotine.
new one of those going on in somewhere in Africa. I just saw that on TikTok. It's a new dancing plague, but it's like,
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Is TikTok not a dancing plague itself? TikTok is a dancing plague.
Hell yeah. It really is. Some of those dances are so off-putting.
As somebody who
It really
used to teach in a high school, I would say yes, very much so. It is a plague of dancing.
there are now competing TikTok dancers, and I don't want to. We talked about if we wanted to cover the Israel-Palestine stuff at all. We said no. Good for we don't want to talk about it. But the one thing I will say is there are competing TikTok dancers. There are Palestine and Israel dances to help. So
all right, so let's be
different
objective.
war.
Which one is better, Caleb? Which one is better?
Yeah.
I'm gonna support which one you tell me is better. So I need to know the
I have not watched any of them. I've only really watched kind of the reaction videos and stuff.
is it the IDF cat girl? Because it's gonna be hard for me to say free.
No, these are
Palestine
just
if
like
the
suburban
IDF cat girl
teenagers
is-
and stuff.
Oh,
This
okay.
This is not like a I mean, who knows? It could be like propaganda, but
Oh yeah,
these are just like,
these are children paid
No
by
way.
the IDF.
yeah, like these are child soldiers in the digital front lines.
That's war these days.
Hey, single combat, maybe another thing we should bring back instead of war. We'll just have like Putin and Zelensky.
I do
just
love
fight
the
each
idea
other.
of countries having champions, man. I
Yeah.
God damn, that would be so sick.
Man, Putin Zelensky 1-on-1. I don't know who I take.
Gotta
in
go
that one.
Putin.
That
Gotta
that
go
is
Putin.
actually kind of a nice matchup there.
Well, you know,
You've
Putin
gotta-
would
Zelensky
cheat.
looks pretty jacked.
Yeah.
Putin would cheat, and he would cheat good. He would like be poisoning
he'd-
Zelensky secretly for months. Yeah.
I was gonna say he'd be like the Red Viper guy in Game of Thrones, who was like poisoning him with the little sword pricks
Hell
and things
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and Zelensky was a late night television comedian, and I am just not
it's
so
true.
sure. And Putin has actually fucking killed people, so I don't know if
Yeah, maybe you're right. The voice of Paddington Bear versus a KGB agent. You might be right. You might be right there.
How long has it been since America has had a president that could fucking hang in a fight like that?
I don't know.
Jesus.
Could
Holy shit,
Obama?
I feel like JFK.
Obama
yeah.
probably could. Obama could probably.
I feel like
man.
Lyndon Johnson could fucking scrap.
Yeah.
dude seems
Yeah,
like he's
Lyndon
a
Johnson-
real rough
Lyndon
fucking
Johnson
LBJ,
could-
yeah.
could scrap.
LBJ would fucking have pocket sand.
I
He
mean,
would beat someone.
Andrew Jackson is really fucked up, but he was a pirate for a while, like a literal
Yeah.
pirate.
And you're Teddy Roosevelt, obviously. Teddy Roosevelt could get into it, but yeah.
Reagan
not-
when he was
so it's been
younger,
like-
but he was so old by the time he was president.
Yeah, Reagan's like an actor guy though, so
Yeah.
it's like in an actual fight he could be like, "I broke my nail," like
Yeah, it looked like he
everybody
had physical
stop.
prowess, but who knows? Anyway,
So it sounds like the last one. It's been about 100 years since we've had a physically
That's probably-
competent president.
unless we
is
take
what it sounds
Obama,
like.
unless we
this
take
is
Obama,
going
but
to
he's a
be
smoker.
the future that presidents campaign on. I'm not kidding. It's not that long until like this is it. Like a president that could kick the shit out of like our enemies is like a thing that people want. It's already kind of there with Trump.
Exactly. That's kind of why people liked him, because he could talk a mean
it's
game.
Elon's first response to everyone who says anything about it, he's like, "Well, I bet I could beat you in a fight," and then the first person to be like, "I bet that
Okay.
you couldn't." He's like, "Oh, never mind. Never mind."
To fix society, just real quick, we need champions, dancing plagues, and what was the last one that we
executions?
did?
Public execution.
Public execution. Those
executions,
three
yeah,
things.
Yeah.
That's it.
That'll fix everything.
You want to heal the world? It's time.
No
Um,
problem too large for a public execution. What I always say.
I wanted to ask you this probably for the last 10 minutes now, Kate, but I haven't wanted to interrupt anybody. You are a Vegas native. Let's talk about the Sphere. Pro or negative? What do you got? Pro or con?
I'm not a Vegas native. I lived there for 5 years.
Oh,
The
gotcha.
Sphere, like many buildings in Vegas that went up when I lived there, it's going to cause many auto accidents. Like they built that gigantic NFL stadium that is just reflects the sun into the eyes of everyone driving on the I-15, and now they've built this thing. And I've seen my friends like take videos of it, and I'm like, there's already enough. Like Vegas is the #1 place for wrong way crashes in the highway already without those things. Like, and now we have those things. So I think it's cool. I don't know what happens in there. I guess U2 was there, but it's probably someone's going to crash their car into it. If they haven't already, probably soon during E3, maybe.
The inside blew my mind. Like just imagine just like being on any substance while being in there and having like the ceiling go down, like fall down like that. The sphere is insane. Like I'm against it. Like I'm like neutral. I shift back and forth between being for or against it. But seeing the inside, I was like, yeah, okay, maybe the sphere has some points occasionally.
Yeah,
We had the
being
whack
out
in
of your-
June had the debate on the sphere. I've stayed out. I have strong opinions, but I stayed out of it.
Imagine fucking tripping your fucking face off and watching like The Matrix in there, or like,
a fish concert, which
Yeah.
I trip balls out in Vegas at a fish concert. They should do it here.
No, dude, that's the thing. That's how like this is they made this so that they could like assembly line MK Ultra people. They could fill the whole fucking thing up with shooters, and they just poison them. And then what's going to happen is like in 7 years, they're going to put the smiley face and it's going to wink in a specific way, and then just terrorism is going to happen. I'm so anti-sphere. I do not trust it. I think it's evil, ontologically an evil building, and needs to be destroyed.
When they first were building it, they said it was an esports stadium. I remember that's what I read in the newspaper. But it does not seem like it's an esports stadium.
No, not at all.
It's owned by Jim Dolan, the guy who owns the Madison Square Garden, who is a true villain. If you don't know who he is,
I don't know much about him. No,
he's basically just like so there's two great things that you should know about him. One is that they put facial recognition software into Madison Square Garden, and he now ejects people who have criticized him using the facial recognition software. So he will see like journalists and stuff like that who have like criticized him or Madison Square Garden, the way he manages it, and he will just kick them out. So that's one great thing about him.
That's the type of shit I'm
great
trying to
thing-
be on. I'm trying to exact revenge on my enemies.
Oh, whack. If you think that's good, this is definitely a whack move then.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that he likes to do is he has his own band called JD and the Straight Shot.
I did know this. And he plays Madison Square Garden with JD and the
and he
Straight
puts himself on the bill with big bands all the time.
Like Billy
he'll be
Joel,
"All
like,
right,
he's
the police
open
are
for Billy
playing or
Joel
something,"
and
and he'll
shit.
open
Yeah.
for them. Yeah, like it's wild.
It's so cool. That's so cool.
And his
to
band
do.
and his
What a
band
maniac.
sucks. They're just like a
Of
blues
course.
stand. It's like a bunch of talented musicians and a rich guy.
this is incredibly off topic, but I found out something that traumatized me a little bit the other day. You guys know a little guy named Ricky Gervais, right?
Oh yeah, friend of the
I've
show.
heard of the
Yeah, you've
bloke.
heard-
I've heard of the bloke.
Yeah, the fella. Yeah, I found out recently that he used to be in a fucking
Yes.
80s like
He was in
new
a
wave,
new wave band.
Yes.
like what would like a post punk
yeah,
band.
like a
And
post
I like listened to it.
and it's not bad.
Yeah, and I watched. It's not bad. It's not bad. I watched a music video and I was like, "What happened? He should have just kept doing this."
I mean,
Holy fuck.
he is so much more David Brent than I think he was kind of making fun of who he was, and then he just like is David Brent, like he is like that man if he just existing in real life, which is fun.
Yeah, no, that just blew my mind. Nothing more off of that. I just thought that was a silly fact.
Okay, so do we want to pivot to what I've been reading about for the past few hours?
let's pivot. Before we do, where can the good people find Kill the Rich?
Oh, so just go to killtherichbook.com. We went ahead and bought an actual domain name.
Fancy.
That's killtherichbook.com with no spaces. Well, no domains have spaces, but without dashes or whatever. Anything, no dots or dashes, none of that stuff. And you'll have links to buy it wherever you like, whether
Yep,
it's
we'll put 'em in the
from
show
Jeff
notes too, for
Bezos
sure.
or bookshop.org or anywhere. But yeah, go buy it there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
or order it at your local bookstore. So that
Hey, you know, we did just find out that they're going to do a small national run at Barnes & Noble. So you actually might be able to go soon to your local Barnes & Noble and buy a book called Kill the Rich
Hell yeah.
there.
Pretty
That's
cool.
sick.
Amazing.
That's sick. Yeah, if you're in Philadelphia, please buy it from the Wooden Shoe, the anarchist book collective that sells all sorts of books of that nature. Okay, so I did a little bit of I was doing a little bit of research on a figure who has been in and out of the news a lot recently. So let me ask all of our geriatric millennials on the call, and Juniper, what do you guys think about Doja Cat?
Well, first of all, fuck
I'll
you.
Yeah, seriously,
I'll
I'm
start.
Gen X, dude.
But so I'm the youngest person, I think,
Uh-huh.
probably. This is my Doja Cat take. I don't know anything about her. I know that she is a musician. I think she does like pop music. I know she had a shirt of Sam Hyde, which he's like a notorious like basically like pseudo Nazi type
Not
dude.
pseudo. Sam Hyde is definitely just a Nazi.
Just a Nazi. Okay, just a straight up Nazi. Yeah, that's my Doja Cat take is like she's kind of weird. Probably like I would say she's a little low key weird.
Little low key weird. Okay.
For
She's
in
quirked
terms of,
up.
like her
A little low
she's a
key
little quirked
weird.
up.
Yeah.
A little low key worked up, but like in terms of like her fan base, because when I think Doja Cat, I think like, oh, she's got like Gen Z fans. She's got like 16-year-old fans who like probably have the same parasocial relationship as like Taylor Swift fans do, but she's like this weird like millennial super online like pseudo like post. I don't know. She's got like weird. She's just weird.
I hear the
for,
most
like,
at gay
who
bars.
she has as
I
a
feel
following
like
base.
gay bars is where I hear Doja Cat the most.
I don't know if I could even recognize a Doja Cat
She
song.
has the number
that
one
is-
song in America right now. Which
Yeah,
I
have
didn't
a few
know.
of her. I have a few of her songs. I don't have her newest single, but I do. I work at a nightclub right now, and so I have heard it. Yeah, I have a few of her songs here. Here, I'll play her. Well, I'll play. This is her first single. This is what sort of got her on the map.
You got me so turned up. You still got a bitch so high. Weed always on my mind. Now he always on my mind. Doja. Know you want some of this purr. You ain't gotta say a word. With that, let's get burned.
All right, so she's
sounds like-
she just
Yeah. Sounds
Lo-fi is
identical
like
to
exactly what I
everything
thought.
else that is popular.
yeah. But she that was like her first big single was So High, where she dressed as the genie, it with blue face paint, which I'm partial to. Jack, what do you know about Doja Cat? What's your familiarity with the musical artist Doja Cat?
I honestly, I feel like I know her most for she did a song where she was like dressed as a cow or something.
Yes.
And she was
Yeah,
like
bitch-
singing
bitch, I'm a cow.
"Moo." Bitch, I'm a cow, right? That's kind of what I remember seeing and thinking that was kind of funny. Like I thought that was funny when that was getting passed around, and then I looked her up and I was like, oh, this is like an actual like musician. I thought it was just like a person that made something kind of funny. But then the other thing I heard is that I remember some weird thing about how she used to like hang out in video chat rooms.
Oh, we're gonna
and,
talk
like,
about the
was
chat
saying-
rooms. We're gonna talk about the chat
Okay,
rooms.
well, we'll talk about that then. But yeah, that's I really don't know much. I will agree with everyone that hearing the clip of that song, I'm like, I swear, this is like what makes me feel old. Is like when you're young, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna be like lame, like how old people are when they hear new music and be like, it all sounds the same. It truly does all sound the same to me. Like I couldn't tell you the difference between that song and any of a number of similar songs. So I don't know. I really don't know much about her.
Okay, so Amala Dlamini, Dlamini, that's what it is. Amala Dlamini grew up with unstable artistic parents. Her father is an actor, her mother is a graphic designer, her aunt taught her to sing as a professional vocal coach, and her grandmother, who she was raised by for a period of time, is an architect. When she was 8 years old, she moved to an ashram in the Santa Monica Mountains. And for 4 years, although her mother is Jewish, the family practiced Hindu from the time she was 8 until she was 12. And then she got to live a normal life for a few years, and then she dropped out of high school at the age of 16. She released her first EP with that song that we just heard, So High, in 2014. And then in 2016, 2016, I think. I didn't write it down. She came out with her debut album, which was called Amala, which is her real first name. And it had the songs Tia Tamara, Juicy, and the classic Moo, which I will play here because it goes hard.
Yeah, this one I like, actually.
I've never seen this in my life.
Oh, it's awesome.
See, I'm the youngest one here, and I feel like I'm the least connected to like pop culture.
Yeah, you're boomer pilled for sure.
Yeah, you are.
I'm boomer pilled.
I just want to hear.
I'm just gonna stay boomer.
I just want to hear it clean where she says that she's a farter. All right, cool. So, yeah, that's her song. Moo, parentheses, bitch, I'm a cow. And she sort of was like an online like person. She had the politics and sense of humor of somebody who is posts on 4chan, and I think the reason for that is that she posts on 4chan.
Oh no! Oh no! Of course she does.
The first time she got canceled was in 2018 for using the F slur in old tweets that got uncovered, and then saying it was okay to do.
Okay, all right.
She didn't even deny. She just said I was right to
double
do
down. Which
I kind of respect that more than like the ukulele apology. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. She's sticking to her guns. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a it's you know, it's a simple mistake that could happen to anybody. You do something wrong, and instead of looking at yourself, you just lash out and blame other people. And I think it's a valid response to any sort of discomfort. She did apologize, but it did not spare her from being NME's Milkshake Duck of the Year in 2018.
Oh, you don't want to win the Milkshake Duck of the Year. Oh, no.
It's the worst thing to
That's
be.
horrible.
Okay, more annoying that NME had a Milkshake Duck of the Year in 2018 is the headline is Doja Cat, you've been canceled. How the novelty Moo rapper became 2018's Milkshake Duck.
Oh my God!
And then the lead
makes me want to
the
kill
lead-
myself hearing this.
That is the kind of stuff that makes me wish I couldn't read. Like if I read a headline like that, I'm like, maybe we shouldn't know how to read.
It doesn't get better in the
See-
beginning of the article because it says, "What the fuck? What the fuck does that headline even mean?" Jesus.
So if the sphere
There's just
existed
words at
10
this
years ago,
stage.
that would be the phrase that made me like shoot up a bank. Like
That's the MK
Yes.
Ultra. Yeah. It's so funny because like that tweak, the Milkshake Duck tweet that I believe that started from is like a really like funny and iconic tweet. But then hearing it in a pop culture headline, it like
it's
I
like
feel
when
like
your
I smell
parents
burnt
call
toast.
shoes sneaks.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
or when your
It just doesn't
grandparents
sound
call sandals thongs.
They're gonna call.
That's
They're gonna call
evil.
like Putin a milkshake duck, like on
They are.
CNN. They already say like oh, this was a real dumpster fire of a week. I'm like,
I love
why
that
not-
because they'll get it completely wrong. And then they'll have like Putin as like the Kevin James thing because like there's no fucking way that CNN is ever going to understand the context of that.
I cannot wait to see how the Kevin James. What were you saying that the Kevin James meme was used? In,
No, like that they'll
news
make
or, like,
Putin
one day.
they'll Photoshop Putin as Kevin James for some reason. CNN will do that in the next year.
Just not knowing why.
Yeah, like
that was
3
a
months
meme.
from now. It's
I think it's maybe more of an MSNBC thing. I don't think CNN would do that.
No, but CNN
that are like late
they all
night
get
TV.
goofy. They're all like all the news channels. They don't take it seriously. They have a lot of contempt for facts over there. In 2020, Doja Cat had a 2015 song that hadn't actually ever been released. It did get dug up by somebody, and the title of the song was "Didn't Do Nothing."
This is the one thing that I did know about,
which
prior to this.
She was forced to apologize because if you aren't like us, the idea of a song called "Didn't Do Nothing" doesn't sound that strange. But this is a Channer slang term for like racists. Whenever a black person gets killed by the police, they will make fun of black people by saying, "Oh, he didn't do nothing," and they spell it wrong.
This is
She
extremely
released this.
racist.
She wrote this
Yeah.
in like 2015, right after Sandra Bland was killed, and Doja Cat was appalled that people thought this was a joke about the murder of Sandra Bland, and it's like, girl, you wrote the song. You got to understand how that's going to sound to some people.
Yeah, classic.
So also for
4chan
context,
phrase.
we're talking about her wearing the Sam Hyde shirt and her doing, this kind of dog whistles stuff. Her mom's Jewish and her dad is a Black South African man. So it's
He's a black
Wow.
South African actor.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah. Yep. In 2020, we also learned 2020 was a bad year for Doja Cat. We got
The worse for her than anybody else I think, that year.
I think that's actually kind
Notoriously
of true.
good year for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of. I think it's because
Everyone else was thriving.
Yeah, I think because everybody was just stuck inside, they're like, let me try to see if I can ruin Doja Cat's life today. And it's like, oh damn, there's a lot of stuff. In 2020, we also learned that she was in racial chat rooms showing feet. That was a tweet about her. Now she claims that in her defense, this is what she said. She said the chat rooms weren't specifically about sexualized race play. However,
But it's the classic but.
there was some, and she was saying the N-word in the racial chat rooms, but she's half black, so it might be fine. But also, she was literally sending pictures of her feet to the 4chan based racial chat rooms where they do race play and say slurs at each other.
This is becoming so complicated. This truly like, and I'm a white guy, so at a certain point I'm like, okay, she's in the racial room, she's saying the N-word, she's black. I'm like, I lose track of the math here, where I'm like, is this allowed or is it not allowed?
It's hard to know.
I think just the weirdest part is that she's like in these like 4chan, like she's clearly a Sam Hyde fan. You're not going to have
Right.
a Sam Hyde shirt if you're like just a cat. Like if a normal person's just not going to have that.
Yeah.
No, people like listeners probably don't even know who that is. Like I feel like you kind of like young people probably don't know, like younger people than me, I guess when I say that, probably don't really know who he is. But like I remember him being around. He had like a TV show in like the 2010s, $1 Million Extreme or something like that. And then he was like always kind of like a YouTube guy or something. I don't
I
know.
mean, he still is
really-
like a YouTube guy, right? Isn't
Yeah,
he
he's
like involved in this fucking weird shit that the YouTubers do where they're like boxing each other or some insane fucking thing that goes on?
He was, I think. Yeah. But I think he got like kicked out or something.
No, he's still doing it.
I don't know.
Last I heard he was going to do one more fight because he's getting up there in age. I think he's in his early 40s, which it's not old, but for boxing, that's
Yeah,
that's-
for YouTuber
years.
boxing, you're starting to age out.
Yeah.
40.
I had a bit of an existential crisis about him today because I've met Sam Hyde. Like,
Wow.
I think in 2010 or 2011, a friend of mine moved into my house and she was dating him. And so he drove.
What the
Whoa.
So he drove her and moved her shit into my house, and I met him, and he was nice and quiet and normal and fine, and I immediately forgot about him. And then $1 Million Extreme became a thing, and I'm like, oh, that's the guy Channing's boyfriend. And then I immediately forgot about him again. And then today, when you we were going to talk about this, I was like, wait, what? Like this like unassuming guy that like helped my friend move that I think I had a beer with once is like a literal Nazi. Like how did
He's a little
He's
weird.
he's been specifically name dropped in shooters manifestos.
Mhm.
Like
yeah, I was like,
well, it's like the whole meme
texting
to
my
say
friends
that
who
Sam
I guess
Hyde did
had
the
some
shooting.
mutuals left, and
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck happened? Like,
The Adult Swim to Shooter manifesto.
yeah, the nice guy who helped my friend move in to this thing. It was very. I was like, this is a weird world.
Part of
we
his
live in.
big heel turn was that he was convinced that Tim Heidecker didn't like his show and got it canceled. and like went on Office Hours, which is Tim Heidecker's live show, and like yelled at him about it. And Tim was like, I didn't have anything to do with it.
I don't
No
know who
one
the
watched
fuck you
it.
are.
Like,
I remember that. Yeah, that really like that Joker pilled him.
Yeah.
That really did. That ruined him, and he became so much worse.
Which is like fucked up.
Because like $1 Million Extreme was like a pretty edgy show, but I wouldn't say at the time it was like I wouldn't say it was like Nazi.
No.
It was
like,
one of these ones
I don't know.
where I think that they like played with some of it, but sometimes I saw people posting being like, this is a Nazi show, and the stuff people would post, I'd be like, I don't necessarily buy, like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, I think this is them like being edgy, but I don't know that it's like a secret hidden Nazi show or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe people listening to this will be like, yes, it was. And in which case I have to say like, you're right. I don't care that much, to be honest with you. But he certainly has gone full Nazi like since then.
Exactly. Like over time, in retrospect, it's like, okay, maybe it was kind of like a little bit of a Nazi thing, looking at where he is now.
I've long held the opinion, and I don't ever say this because fucking obvious reasons, but Sam Hyde is legitimately funny. Like
he did that TED Talk, right? That fake
he
TED
did the TED Talk.
I was just gonna bring that up. That TED
it's
Talk
funny.
is still
He does
so
all
good.
kinds of like objectively. He's like funny in spite of being a Nazi. Like his Nazi stuff is not funny, but like he does. So like part of me is like, okay, does Doja Cat not know? Does she just think that Sam Hyde is funny? But like, no, like considering if you look at it in the like, I guess
It was the shooter shirt
bullshit.
too. I mean, it's not like
was it the shooter shirt? I didn't.
Yeah,
see it.
yeah.
I will say too that I'm on a podcast now with someone who thinks Sam Hyde is funny and someone who is a personal friend of his, and so I may have to dip just for my own personal brand.
Well, maybe Sam Hyde helped Doja Cat move in 2011, and that's how she is.
So you're also friends with Doja Cat. Interesting connections you have here. No, but I will say that TED Talk in particular, that is genuinely pretty funny. But I'm not condoning Sam Hyde.
This is ideology, of course, we can all say it. I don't think we need to give that caveat. Like anybody who's listening to the show knows that. But he's just funny. I think it's like I've thought about this for a long time because I think that people just have this like proclivity to say, well, he's a Nazi, and like there's no way that you can like watch his content without being a Nazi, or they don't understand like pipelining or whatever. I don't even know if his like shtick is to pipeline people through his comedy, but it is funny. Like he is like his boxing stuff where he was like in character as this Irish guy called the Candyman, and he like called out Hassan, and it was like it got like way too extreme because he like sicked his fans on Hassan and like harassed him. But like at first it was like legitimately funny, and he's just a funny guy, but he's also fucking insane and a Nazi. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, think about it like with Trump. Everyone thinks Trump is pretty funny, but it's like he's obviously like fucking horrible. It's I would say like it's that same principle where it's like we can objectively say sometimes something that Trump does is pretty funny. Like be scared about sharks. Like just an insane degree. That's pretty funny.
We can acknowledge that Trump is actually probably literally the funniest person going right now, to be honest with you. Like
funniest president of all time by a fucking mile.
Yeah, objectively.
So continuing with the woes that befell our friend Doja throughout the year 2020, she was on the European MTV Awards. And she did, and I'm going to play it here in a moment. She did a new metal version of her song "Say So,"
hell yes,
which it's quite good. But then she got in trouble because the guitar solo in it is identical to another song, which I could play side by side. I like found it, but that's boring. Who wants to hear two guitar solos that sound the same? But here is her cover of her own song "Say So." That she did for the European English something EMA. Is it European? Who gives a fuck?
This is good. I would listen to this.
Yeah, what the hell? She should just be doing this.
Yeah, she should.
I don't don't know. It seems like it turned into a Machine Gun Kelly song suddenly.
I think that's fair, but I think she's a better singer than Machine Gun Kelly.
And yes, I think everyone is. Everyone in this podcast probably is.
I just think this is objectively more interesting than like traditional. I don't know. I'm just not like a big pop head.
I mean, neither am I.
Not much going on for me there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree,
yeah.
and I hear that song every fucking weekend. I've never heard anybody play the new metal remix at the club. Nobody's playing the new metal songs at the club.
These clubs got to get better playlists.
Or I got to work at a better club.
God, I wish I could work at a new metal club.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh my
God, the club for
Someone
Blade,
needs to start that.
Just like sprinklers with blood and everything. She also, a couple just real quick things she's done wrong that people have gotten mad at her for. She dated this guy Jay Cyrus, who's been accused of like grooming and sexual harassment. He sent unsolicited dick pics to his ex from Doja Cat's house, according to the ex. And she showed pictures of the dick, and you could tell it was inside of Doja Cat's house.
She decided to stick by her man, huh?
I kind of admire the balls it takes to do that.
That's a real
dick pics in
Biden.
this
That's a real
episode.
Biden move.
That is a real Biden move.
The Biden play.
In 2023, or in 2022, I couldn't really figure out when it was such a stupid thing, but her fans got really upset because she didn't come out and say hi to them after this festival got canceled and everybody knew where she was staying. And then the next night she went to go say hi to them and no one was there, but it was like raining, and she said like, fuck my fans, I'm quitting music. And then a year later, she came out with another album. Right now, she has the #1 song in the country on Billboard, I think, or top 10.
Hold on a second.
Least.
The last anecdote, I have to say I do stand with Doja Cat on that one.
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah.
mad at annoying fans and then making a big pronouncement that you go back on, I think we can all relate to. I think that's very relatable.
Yeah, right now she does have the #1 song. By the by, she has the #1 song in the country right now. What were you saying, Jude?
I was just gonna say, like, I like also kind of get where like she comes from with that one, because like just imagine being Taylor Swift. You don't have a life. Like these fans are like the most psychotic parasocial creatures to ever exist, and like I kind of like I understand. Like I don't envy being like Doja Cat or Taylor
that's
Swift.
the-
Like,
Yeah.
that sounds like horrible.
Well, Taylor
that's the
Swift
thing
at least
about-
has like no soul, and I feel like has
Yeah,
just
that's
a
what I was gonna say.
Gestapo running around her all the time, so she's completely insulated from it. But if you're
Every
not
single one
Taylor
of these. Every single one of these things we've said about Doja Cat, at least one person in the call is like, bah, I can't blame her for that one. But like, Taylor Swift doesn't have any of this. She never has freaked out on a fan. She's never been like, I fucking hate this, I need to stop. That's a monster. Something is deeply wrong with Taylor Swift that none of this has
Right.
ever happened to her. Like she
runs a tight
and I'm
ship.
fucking putting fucking like Lizzo and Beyonce in the same camp there, where like they like love this shit, and it's like kind of
I will
scary
say
to think of a
on-
person who would enjoy this kind of life.
On Doja and her fans, I will say that I did podcasting and I did streaming, and I think I, cobbled together something like 20 fans across the entire country, and that they're like, it's the most annoying thing in the world. They should all buy the book, but those are the most annoying people I've ever met in my life. People that are fans, just joking, fans, buy the book. But even having like the tiniest, minuscule level of fame that I ever had, I was like, this sucks and is annoying. But that's just a joke, and they should buy the book.
There's Lady Gaga tweeted in all caps one time, "Fame is a prison." And that's not so interesting to me. The thing that I found really funny was that in the replies was the guy who said, shouldn't have went on stage and did a duet with Bradley Cooper then. And to me, I'm like, kind of true. Like, if you don't want all this attention, you shouldn't have went on stage and did a duet with Bradley Cooper then. Like, you kind of made your bed. Like, you wanted to be famous. You fucking...
Every single like pop singer, especially from like the late 90s, early 2000s, had like a song about how much they hate the paparazzi, including Lady Gaga, and it's kind of it is a little difficult to countenance when you hear a millionaire being like, I wish they would stop following me, and it's like, all right, cancel your tour and take up knitting. Like, I don't like
go
Billie
get a
Eilish
job at a
has
hotel or something then, whatever. Like,
Yeah, Billie Eilish has a song about like how people like comment on the way she dresses. And I'm like, you don't have to go to the Met Gala. Like, you don't have to do these things. You can just, stay home. Like, you don't have to. You can live a low-key life.
yeah,
These celebrities will
like,
never be as oppressed as podcasters like us anyway, because we deal with all this. We get the insane DMs. Did you guys see that fucking shit I posted yesterday about the person that was like, hey,
That was awesome.
will you like record yourself saying like positive dad things to me and I'll pay you money as like this weird kink? We deal with insane DMs and doing the actual real harassment that you get. And we're not millionaires, so I have no sympathy for Lady Gaga, frankly.
also, yeah, I will.
What I
I
will
will take the money to do the fetish readings for you. I'm here to tell you that everything's going to be okay, champ. You just hit my line.
We are so proud of you.
Alex is doing it for free.
you shouldn't give this stuff away for free. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to give a shout out to we could cut this if you guys want to. I want to give a shout out to the Twitter handle Penis Cummer.
Oh, we got to shout out Penis Cummer.
We're going to talk about penis cummer in the mailbag segment.
We're leaving Penis Cummer in. He's huge. I'm huge into the Penis Cummer Twitter account.
Jack and Kate, really sorry about the penis cummer discourse. I know that you don't understand what's going on. I think penis cummer is going to be part of the show's lore.
I'm certainly going to find out.
But no, I did just want to say also that like I think like being that level fame is like that would be fucking insane.
Yeah, it'd be
because
terrible.
like the level that I'm at, like I don't think I've ever like I've gotten like some weird messages from like people who follow me or like are fans and like very strange, but like most interactions I've had with like my base of followers has been like so positive. It's like the haters and the losers whom I love fondly, who are the real freaks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So just the last two things about Doja Cat.
Oh, there's more.
There are.
I thought we were winding that shit down.
She's
I was
not
fucking
done.
wrong.
I am ending before some of her more recent times she's yelled at her fans like this week, because she is continuing her ongoing feud with the people who love her. Because they asked, they wanted to call themselves the Kittens because she's Doja Cat, and she basically was like, "Kill yourself, don't do that."
I
she was
stand
like,
with her again.
Yeah, the Kittens is a little weird. That's a little
well,
weird,
and like somebody whose
say.
name, like display name, was her full name. She was like, she said to them, "You're weird as fuck for having my government as your name." And anybody who calls themselves a kitten should stop listening to my fucking music immediately.
And again, I'll stand with her on the government name. That is really weird. As someone who's going through that, being doxxed right now, I highly relate to that. Yeah,
yeah. And then most recently, she canceled a tour where she was supposed to open for The Weeknd due to a vaping injury.
Whose vaping injury? Hers or Weeknd, or who had the vaping injury?
She got her tonsils removed as an adult because she was vaping too much, and she said it caused some sort of issue.
That's bullshit. I vape so much. My tonsils are just fine.
Yeah, I tend to think it is bullshit, but that is what she claims. She had to cancel a tour for a vaping injury.
I think
it's
she
like
rocks.
when Jeremy
I have to be honest, I think she rocks.
She's fast.
A brand new kitten, Jack Allison, is here. Yeah, so that's what I got on Doja Cat. But Doja, catch that link to their book. That's killtherichbook.com.
Thank you. That was very good. That was really very nice.
Shout out to my boy Nathan, who, when I told him I was going to be doing this right before we got on this call, he said, "Did you catch the Phillies game?" And I'm like, "I'm going to kill you, bro." And he's like, "You should use that on your show." So shout out Nathan.
He was right. You should, and you did.
All right, Jack and Katie, you guys want the last word? You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nothing in particular. I think that was that was very, that was a total rundown on Doja Cat. I feel like I really am a Doja Cat expert now. And so, I really think, thanks for having us on. It really was a blast and good talking to you.
Yeah. Please don't cancel me for once hanging out with Sam Hyde in 2011. I didn't know anything about him. It was thrust on me. I apologize to my fans and your fans. He just helped my friend move in. So
to those hurt by all the shootings he was implicated in.
By the book, I have nothing to do with Sam Hyde. I'm unaffiliated.
He didn't blurb the book or anything like that. So
I'm already organizing the multiple paramilitary Discord servers that I have. We're going to war with you right now.
All right. Well, thank you to Jack Allison and Kate Shapiro. Please do buy Kill the Rich. And thank you so much for listening to this episode.
That's it for the main feed, but there's plenty more on the Patreon this week. You can listen to that at patreon.com/westernkabuki. Again, that's patreon.com/westernkabuki. Thanks so much. We'll see you there.